Hello everyone, this is Coach Michele coming to you live from Atlanta. Good day, good day, good day. Today's video is on an extremely important topic. Many of you are just thinking about starting your business, or you may have actually made the decision to start your business. And the question is, how and what do I need to know in order to obtain my license in whatever state, right? So what does that mean? Am I in a regulated state or am I in a non-regulated state? Great question. So here I am to answer it for you. Many of you are in a state that's regulated. What that means is there's a governing board, the state that oversees the licensing of the home care agency. Meaning you can't just arbitrarily start a business, say, as if you were in a non-regulated state. Non-regulated state, like Alabama, right? So you can start a home care business in Alabama without any specific type of credentials, without any agency overseeing it. There's no licensing fees and things like that, right? Michigan, right? So if you're in Michigan, it's a non-regulated state. So if you're in a regulated state, the first thing that you need to do, well, actually, let me back up a little because you may be wondering, am I in a regulated state? So the first thing I want you guys to do, grab a piece of paper and take notes. So the first thing you would do is find out if your state is regulated. So you want to go to Google and you can just simply type in these words. How to start a home care agency in blah, blah, blah state. What are the state requirements to get my license, my home care license in ABC state? How much does it cost to start a home care agency in ABC state, right? In example, I'm in Georgia. So I would put in Georgia home care license application. Actually, that's the very best one. Georgia home care application requirement. So if you're in California, California is a very highly regulated state. To obtain a license there's some prerequisites. So there's things that you have to do prior to applying for a license in California. California is approximately $5,200 to get a license in California, right? So that's something that I want you guys to think about. Depending on what state you reside in and where you're starting your business, not only do you want to find out if there's a license required, if it's a regulated state, you want to find out all of the requirements, starting with the prerequisites, because a lot of them say you got to get these things done before you can apply for a license, right? So like Texas, for instance, Texas, to get a license in Texas is $1,750, right? And then you have to go through the governing board there, the governing agency. But before you can even apply for a license in Texas by submitting your application, there's a few training classes that you have to go to. You can do them online, you can go in person, but there's prerequisites before you can apply for a license in Texas. And again, it's $1,750. Right? So if you are in, let's say, let's use South Carolina for instance, right? So if you're in South Carolina and you're looking to start a home care agency, do you need a license? Absolutely. Meaning there's an application process. So you want to go through that licensing board. I think the acronym is SDEC, right? So if you just go in and you Google, you'll find out what the requirements are. South Carolina, for instance, is different than most states. They have some areas that are very, very detail oriented that you have to pay attention to. So if you're out there buying policies and procedures, you can't get generic policies and procedures for some of these states that I mentioned. South Carolina, for instance, their TB process, right, for TB screening is different than most states. Their criminal background checks are different than most states. So you want to be very aware of what your state is requiring before you can get a license. Some states require you to have a certain type of credential, right? So you may need to be a nurse. You may need to, which that's the main credential if your state requires you to have specific type of education. There's not many states, there's just a handful that requires that. But that's what you want to check. You want to make sure you know what the rules and regulations are. So once you Google and you find out who the governing board is for that state, And I say governing board because they're over it. They have the rules, the regulations. Some states will call it the code, the state code. So you want to make sure you understand. So once you find out who that agency is, and most of the time when you Google, you want to find the link, click on the link that ends in gov, G-O-V, or if it has the state, right? So it may be like Georgia, right? So you may see .ga.gov. California, right? So you gotta make sure you're at the right place, because when you Google that, guess what, guys? You're gonna find a whole lot of consultants. So you wanna make sure before you invest your money, you understand, let me go back. Before you invest your money with any consultant, with us, with anyone else, you wanna make sure you know what the rules are, what the codes are for that state, because you don't wanna pay someone and then you don't meet the requirements. And you want to make sure you're very aware of the current status of that state in the licensing. And you may be asking yourself, what do you mean, Coach Michele? What I mean is that there's a lot of changes that are occurring right now. So if you're looking to start your business, come on and start, because things are changing. Like North Carolina, for instance. North Carolina, you may want to start a home care agency and offer personal support services. However, that's not available. There's a moratorium on in North Carolina right now, so you can apply for a home care license. However, it's only going to be for companionship, respite type services. You cannot assist anyone, you cannot apply for a license to assist individuals with their activities of daily living. It's not available right now. So at this present moment, they're saying they're going to review it during the summer of 2019. But guess what, guys? They said the same thing last year and the year before. So if you want to get into it, you need to go ahead and get into whatever state licensing you're in, right? So you may be in a state like Tennessee. Tennessee is a piece of cake. It's very easy, quick to get a license in Tennessee. However, it just depends on where you are. So if you're in Georgia, for instance, Georgia is not considered home care, right? The license is called personal home care provider. So if you just type in home care, you may not get it, right? And so you want to find out exactly what it's called, because a lot of times we say, what's the difference? I want to start a home health company. I want to start a home care company. Depending on where you are, even though you're offering non-skilled services, your state may be calling it home health license. For instance, in Kansas, right? In Kansas, it's called home health. But there's different levels, right? They have an A level, a B level, and a C level. You can apply for a B, C. You can apply for just an A. So it really depends on what you are looking to serve, how you're looking to serve your community, and at what capacity. So that's why it's so important. A lot of times we just throw around the words home care agency, but we have to be very knowledgeable on exactly what it's called in our state, how much it costs, what are the requirements, and if I meet those requirements, do I need a nurse? What are the requirements? And of course, how much does it cost? Some states have provisional licensing. So there's a two-step process. So when you apply, you're finding out what's going on and you apply, you want to make sure that you are following the law. For instance, in Maryland, right? Let's take Maryland for instance. When you apply for an application, when you submit your application in Maryland and you get your approval and you get that letter and the letter says you can now market for your 2 clients or 3 clients, 2 clients, I believe it is. You can now market for your 2 clients. However, that's not saying you can go out there and advertise. And that's just your provisional. So you have to physically get those 2 clients and then request a survey, and then the state will come in and do a survey. And then if you pass that survey, then you get your full license, right? Same thing in Georgia. Georgia is a provisional, gives you a provisional. So you get your provisional license in the state of Georgia, and they give you 1 full year to become operational. And what does that mean, become operational? Meaning you have to have 2 clients, you have to have the full folders in place for your clients, for your caregivers, and then you submit and request them to come out and do a survey within that 1 year, right? So it can be done. A lot of people could do it a lot faster. When I started my agency, I did it in like 30 days. and I got my full license ASAP, right? But they give you a full year to become operational. Okay, so it's very important to understand what it is that you're doing, right? And if you can start your business as a CNA, if you can start your business without any credential. Do I have to be a CNA to have a CNA to start my business? No, you don't. There's no state that says you must be a CNA to start. There's a few states that need you, to say, hey, you need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. Like North Carolina, for instance, I mentioned that a moment ago. It has a very clear breakdown. Texas, very clear breakdown on what that looks like, right? And you also want to find out, guys, this is another nugget here. You also want to find out what is the turnaround time, right? Because you could be in a state like New York. New York, the turnaround time is over 2 years for them to look at your application and give you a response. Georgia is 6 months, right? California takes about 6 or 8 months, right? It just depends. It varies significantly. There's a few states you could be up and running just like this. Connecticut, up and running, very inexpensive, start your business quick, right? Massachusetts, quick, start your business just like that. Michigan, Indiana doesn't take long at all. Indiana is very, very quick turnaround time to get your license. So it really depends. So let me sum this up for you guys. The first thing you want to do once you make that decision, or you don't even have to make the decision. Once you make a decision that you want to look at potentially starting a home care business, before you spend any money, go online and do your due diligence and take into consideration all of these things that I just mentioned. Okay? And once you make that decision and you need help, then of course you can come to us. You can visit us online. We have an amazing VIP hybrid program. Not only are we going to help you get your license, we're going to give you your policies and procedures customized for you, your state. We're going to walk you through what you need from the very beginning, all those prerequisites that I mentioned, and give you what you need to set you up for success. All of your forms, your policies, your procedures, everything you need to know. In addition to that, what I'm so excited and proud to share with you guys is that our VIP hybrid program comes with a full 1 year, 12 months mentorship and coaching, where you get mentorship and coaching directly from me. You get it from my team. You have access to an online training center and so much more. So if you're interested in getting some assistance with starting your business, we would love to have a conversation with you. We do have an application process, so we don't work with everyone, but we do want to work with those individuals that are serious about getting to the next level. Nothing hurts me more than someone investing money and not finishing the program. So we only want to work with people that are serious about moving to the next level. We have clients all over the country that have changed their financial makeup, have changed the way they live, changed their zip code, and so much more. So I encourage you guys to do your homework, do your due diligence, and don't listen to what other people are saying. Because sometimes people try to help you, but if they don't know the requirements and what's required in your state, they could really be trying to help you, but give you information based on their state. They may have opened a business in Georgia and they're very familiar and proficient in the laws in the state of Georgia. But guess what? If you're in California, it's not going to work. If you're in Michigan, guess what? It's not going to work. It doesn't matter just because it says home care. It has to be specific to your state and the requirements. There's some things that are generic, right? So everybody needs an EIN number. Everybody needs to get their entity set up, right? Through the Secretary of State. Regardless of what state you're in, these are some things. Matter of fact, let me just share this last couple of minutes with you on things you must have when you start your business. You need to come up with your name. You need to make sure you check with the Secretary of State to make sure your name is not taken and it's available. If you go to the Secretary of State and the name is available and you're not ready, you can secure the name. You can lock it in, right? And then that way, when you're ready, the name will be there for you, right? So you want to get your EIN, you want to get your entity, you want to get a business license. Not every county or city or local municipality require a business license, but you want to check and see, right? And then you want to make sure you have insurance, right? And there's 4 different types of insurances that you need. So there's but those are the main things that you need to get from a legal perspective. And then there's just so much more. And we can walk you through that process if you're looking for some coaching assistance and mentorship. So this is Coach Michele coming to you live from Atlanta. I hope that gave you guys some insight and helped set you up for success while you do your due diligence. You can visit us online at www.michelleleeellis.com. Michelle has one L. You can also visit the link below and it'll take you directly to our website and you can learn more about the VIP program. If you like the video, subscribe and look forward to our next release. Take care. God bless.